Hey guys, this is the inaugural Genuine Asshole podcast today, and this is basically, I'll give a little explaining. This is going to be like a movie podcast. I might talk about some other stuff. We might dabble in some other topics. But
jean jackets,
jean jacket, we may talk about dungaree jackets.
Cowboy boots.
There are some dungaree jackets in this movie. We'll get to that in a second. That is my brother Sal.
Hi everybody.
I am Dominic Tartamella. We are brothers. We are part of the team at Genuine Assholes. Yes. And this is our first podcast. We're going to talk about movies. And today we're going to be examining the 1989 film.
Classic? A classic, I believe.
It's a classic in our eyes. It's a classic in our eyes. This is Roadhouse, the Patrick Swayze vehicle. I really can't see anybody else playing
Academy
this.
Award winning?
No, there's no Oscars.
Snubbed.
You could,
Definitely
we
snubbed.
could have that conversation at another time.
That's for sure.
But let's get right into Roadhouse. Sal, how do you feel about Roadhouse? What is it?
I mean, probably top 10 greatest movies of all time.
There are film critics everywhere that beg to differ.
I mean, I gotta say, it's one of those movies you don't really need to know what's going on. Like, you could start that movie, you could leave for an hour, come back, and you're right in it again. Like, you don't know. I mean, you walk in and people missing throats. Not to jump the gun, but there's people missing throats.
Yes.
I mean,
spoiler alert.
There's a lot of Patrick Swayze ass.
A lot of ass.
Like.
Some ass. A nice amount of Swayze
Swayze ass. I mean, and that was big. This is 1989. This was, guys were walking around. They were showing their ass. That's that's where it's at. And
I was satisfied by the amount of Swayze ass. But I wouldn't. I love this movie. This is one of those movies that I think you grow up seeing on TV. At least we did. It was on TV every other day.
It defines you as it defines your childhood. Like, movies you watch when you're a kid. It was like, Mickey Mouse, Rocky, Roadhouse.
Patrick Swayze.
Swayze, Roadhouse. The hair,
of course.
Hair, the built, the yoga, Tai Chi. That was big. People were doing Tai Chi. I think our father did Tai Chi. But, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's another thing you bring up. This is a movie that we sat and watched, like, at our father's apartment on many occasions.
Yeah,
he'd be watching it with us. He'd flip through the channels.
If you were born like us in the 80s, mid, late 80s, whatever, like, you grew up watching this movie on the couch with your dad. Your dad might have had a rat tail, acid wash jeans. Those were big in the late 80s, early 90s, those boots, like those sneakers, but they look like wrestling boots, like with the big lip, and like I think the guys used to tuck their pants into them, so the sneaker showed that almost like it's a skinny jean, but it came up at the top like MC Hammer.
Skinny jean,
reverse like MC Hammer pants.
I'm trying to figure out
pants.
How many people are listening to this, and trying to figure out when we're gonna start talking about Roadhouse. We're gonna talk about 80s wardrobe.
Like they look like. Not Engelbert Humperdinck, but Oswald Copperpot. The penguin, the big fat ass. So I don't fucking know.
All right, so we lost train of thought a little bit.
But
let's try to stay centered on the topic at hand. The topic at hand is Roadhouse. For those who haven't seen Roadhouse, because we're kind of talking about Roadhouse like this is a movie that everybody knows, and
I'm pretty sure if you were born in the late 80s to now, you had to see Roadhouse. That's almost like. In school they teach you ABCs. Like, if you got a dad, he's gonna make you watch Roadhouse. It makes you into a man,
right?
Because I mean, we learn a lot about men in this movie and types of men. Users.
Well, let's give a synopsis of what this movie's about. The movie is basically, in a nutshell, is about Patrick Swayze, who is a cooler. Now, for those who don't know that terminology, a cooler, which I don't know why you don't know this, but is the head of the bouncers at a bar, basically. So he's this badass cooler, and he's got this reputation, and he's basically hired...
Nationally known.
Nationally known.
I mean, across the nation.
He is known everywhere. And this is before the days of the internet, so why does anybody know
I don't know, and
his
name is solely, like, Dalton.
They never give him another
name,
right?
last name. I gotta check the credits, gonna be honest with you. Didn't do my homework on this.
You know what? I think they left that
Dalton, like Madonna.
Mysterious.
One name, and everybody's like, oh, like, he says, like, I mean, we're gonna jump it a little bit, like, you know, in the movie, like, oh, who are you? I'm Dalton. It's like, and you hear people like whispering in the background, like, holy shit, that's Dalton. Like,
we watched it with the subtitles on, so you see like you see people going, oh shit.
Yeah, you know, like this shit was added in after the fact. You know,
a lot of ADR.
ADR, yeah, absolutely. So I was like, holy shit, that's Dalton. It's like, I heard he killed the guy in Memphis.
We didn't have enough people in the background. The director was like, we need more people
to bring up the murder charges,
like recognizing that name. So anyway, that's the basic story. Then he's hired to take care of this bar, to clean up this bar.
I mean, in the bar, like, you know, the Double Deuce.
The name of the bar is Double Deuce. So let's jump into this movie. That's all the synopsis here.
So, I mean, okay, so opening scene.
You
don't know nothing yet. I mean,
there's a badass song playing. Hillbilly shit-kicking music.
Shit-kicking. The real shit-kicking spurs on the back of your cowboy boots. And, like, you know, and, like, you see this nightclub emerging. They don't give you nothing. They don't tell you what year it is, where you are, what state you're in. You just see...
You're essentially in the middle of nowhere.
No, middle of nowhere, because I see dirt.
There's dirt. Like, it's real cowboy shit.
You don't even see Swayze yet. They're just like in a parking lot of this nightclub that is unbelievably enormous. I mean, like, you know, like a fucking baseball stadium, you know? Ridiculously packed nightclub. Like, they don't tell you, like, is this nickel beer night?
Right.
What, you know?
And yet again, like...
Cloudy opening. I knew in my notes I took that down. Like, cloudy.
And also...
Vaseline on the lens,
yeah,
you know?
And to bring up the fact that, like, this is the middle of nowhere, like, this place is way too packed. Like, this isn't New York. This isn't California.
I mean, the only thing that I did notice, though, when he leaves, jumping the gun again, when he gets into his Mercedes, it is New York plates. In his Mercedes-Benz.
So are we to believe that
shit-kicking bar is in... someone they found on the West Side Highway.
Now, is that the beat-up car?
No, this is the nice car.
Oh, we'll get to that in a second for those who don't understand what I'm saying. There's more than one car.
Middle of nowhere. Place is packed. And, like, now it goes into the nightclub and people are just dancing. It looks like there's line dance. I don't even know. And, like, crowds of people. And then all of a sudden you see Swayze.
Right.
Classic late 80s Swayze. Beautiful flowing hair, smoking a cigarette.
So let's jump around a little bit. Let's quicken this up a little bit. Then you see an airport limo pull up. Remember that airport limo pull up? And a guy gets out.
and the limo says airport limo.
Airport limo.
And he gets out in like those... I guess they were in style at the time, those leather jackets that look like suit jackets.
Those were never in style.
They're never in style. And this guy has a creepy pedophile grin from the minute you see him on camera. Like honestly, I wouldn't want to do business with this guy.
So this guy gets out. He is the owner of the Double Deuce, where to find
You don't know this
yet. So he gets out, and he's just scoping this place out. He's watching. There's like fights breaking out.
And you're to believe, I mean, they start giving you vibes at an early point in this movie that Swayze is the reason why this nightclub is this packed. It's all thanks to Dalton. Like, he's such a cooler. I mean, whatever the fuck that means. But, like, he's such a cooler that he's, you know, turned this nightclub into this beautiful, ravishing, almost like Madison Square Garden, 70,000 people.
Right. And he's watching Swayze. He's giving him the eye fucks. He's looking at him. He's looking at what he does.
Fuck him.
Then there's an Indian guy singing with long hair. I don't know if that...
I mean, I thought
that's racist.
I think this movie's very racist. I mean, for the beginning, for the better part of the movie, in this scene in particular, they didn't even show a black face. They only show a black hand pouring a drink.
They would not. Did the credit say black hand?
No, I mean, that's how I think. I'm like, oh, there's going to be a mixed, you know, at least like a 10% black.
Keith David gets billing in this movie. That's the best part. If you're a Keith David fan, you know him from The Thing, you know him from They Live, Something About Mary.
He becomes a bartender at the end of this.
He gets kind of like...
But is that the same billing? But is that the same black hand?
No, because that's later on. But he pops up and he's got like a billing in the credits. But meanwhile, like you don't see him until 50 minutes into the movie for like 2 seconds.
Maybe longer than that.
But anyway, I guess hey, it's better than being the black hand guy. So the guy's watching now. Some shit goes
down in the club, and end result is, I mean, Dalton gets stabbed in the arm, doesn't even flinch, and this just sets the tone for this whole movie.
Dalton gets like stabbed, like literally stabbed in the arm, and he like looks back, and he's almost like, it reminded me of the Terminator because he just looked back emotionless.
Yeah, and he's almost like he looks at the other guys and says like, get him out of here. Like,
yeah,
you know,
he
like,
doesn't, and he's
outside.
No. The guy's like, out. What does he say? He's like,
the guy said,
I wrote it down.
I guess the guy goes, guy says, I always wanted to try you.
I always wanted. This is the beginning of like that. Dalton is like a legend.
The legend, like what the what is of what is he?
This
Dalton.
guy's like, I always wanted
mystical creature.
I always wanted.
He's like,
to take
I always
you.
wanted to try you.
Yeah, so he's like, I always wanted to take you.
No, he says, I always wanted to try you. I think I could take you.
Right, so then Dalton's like, outside. They go outside, and this is how showing, like, Dalton just got stabbed yet again, no pain, and he just kind of, like, walks away from the guy, and then the bouncers,
he's like, come on!
So we're showing that this guy, you know what, he's a badass, but he knows when to be a badass. He's not going to waste his time just proving a point, which we'll see a lot of bouncers working in the double deuce after just beat, like, fucking Terry Funk just beats the shit
out of people.
Yeah.
For no reason. I mean, he's just hitting people. He actually tells Dalton, you ain't drinking, you're next.
Yeah,
before
he's
he knew
looking
it was
for
Dalton.
a fight, Terry Funk. Yeah. So we got the Indian guy out of the way. Dalton gets stabbed. And then the next scene is just, again, clarifying how badass Patrick Swayze in this movie. What is he doing?
He's sewing himself up. He didn't go to die. He just went to, like, a little office that obviously anybody could walk into this office.
Right.
Obviously, like, I mean, Dalton obviously has enemies. Right. Yet he's in this room that anybody can walk to and just blow him away. And
I want to bring up something, too, because he's sewing himself a la Rambo. Kind of like... So we're establishing that he's badass, like Rambo, putting the gunpowder in his wounds. He's sewing himself up. The double deuce guy walks in.
Frank Tillman.
Tillman's
is the double deuce character.
Is that the actor? Or
no, that's his name.
That's his Roadhouse name.
Yeah.
Who cares about his real
Kansas
name?
City.
Okay. And so he walks in. He offers Dalton a job. ABC, whatever.
And Dalton says some ridiculous figures. I don't know if anybody picks it.
Yeah.
But he says the deal is
he's hesitant at first.
He's like, he doesn't want to do the job. And then he's like, listen, the guy's like, oh, I want the best. And he's like, well, then get Wade Garrett. And you don't even know who Wade Garrett is
This
yet.
is a plant. It's
He's like, well, Wade Garrett's the best. And he's like, well, Wade Garrett's old. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, honestly, in this movie, I will not, again, jumping the gun, but Wade Garrett's what? Maybe like 45?
Yeah, we'll
get to
Wade Garrett.
Cooler age, that's,
that's a ripe age.
That's a ripe age.
But I wanted to bring up, now, when this guy... First of all, let's bring up it's the kind of place... that you sweep eyeballs? What does he say?
Well, he says, oh, my club, Double Deuce, it's in Kansas City. He goes, I want to work for you. I want you to work for me. And Dalton basically tells him, like, listen, it's $5,000 up front.
Right.
$500 a night. Mm-hmm. And when I want to leave, I leave.
Which is, like, that's amazing money.
1989.
And that's 1989.
I mean, that's amazing money now.
I wish I had a job. I might become a cooler if that's the
If that's what it's... I mean, you got to be making at least $3,000 a night now.
But go ahead, what does he say?
And he tells him, he goes, right now the Double Deuce are kind of place you sweep up the eyeballs at the end of the night.
And, like, no matter how bad a bar is, like, you say, how many... is there somebody designated for the job of sweeping up eyeballs?
Did he mean that literally? Is there literally eyeballs? Are they glass eyeballs?
I don't know. Because that's a terrifying place to work, let alone own.
I mean, and we didn't even see this place yet for people listening right now. You didn't even see this.
And this also brings up... this is what I was going to bring up before now. Like, Dalton in this entire movie is like, he's a loyal guy. That's one thing about him. He's a loyal man. He just... quits his job out of nowhere.
Tells him, like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like, it's yours or something. Like,
yeah, I forgot the name of the place.
And that's kind of fucked up when you think about it, because they established throughout this movie that this guy's this loyal guy.
Yeah, but
the first 5 minutes of the movie, he fucks over a guy.
You know what I'm going to say? He's also established, that's why he tells, the guy that owns Frank Tillman, the owner of Double Deuce, he tells him, too, when I walk, I walk. Like, he basically, he's a wanderer,
He don't give a shit.
He don't give a shit.
When he's done, he's done.
Exactly. He's a man without a home.
Well, that's another thing. Like, the guy Frank Tillman, whatever the fuck his name is, he's trying to be like, oh, when are you coming? And he's like, I'll be there when I'll be there. He's not giving him straight answers. Like, he's just gonna come kind of like a gust of wind.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna blow into that town. And then when he's ready to leave, he's gonna blow out.
And kind of, he's a drifter. He has no home. And he likes to make it like...
he's a man without a home.
Man without a home, and he makes it, too, like when Mr. Tillman is like, I got your plane ticket right here. Right. And he's like, I don't fly.
Oh, that joke.
He's like, it's too dangerous.
And, like, he's still looking at him with the fuck you eyes. Like,
yeah, this
he
guy
kind of wants to fuck him.
This guy, I mean, not for nothing, the whole movie, about 5 hours, this movie. Frank Tillman makes it like, you know, the whole movie you don't see him with any women. Owns this nightclub, you know, he ain't banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time. Yeah. And it's like, it makes you think, is Frank Tillman gay and is he trying to fuck Dalton?
Yeah. I think movie? That might be a completely, I want to see that movie from his perspective and see like watching Dalton and really like trying to seduce him.
Jerking off in a Dixie cup.
And then at the end of the movie, Dalton rips out his throat and that's what we don't see. Yeah. But, so let's get back to this. He makes him this outrageous offer. He does...
and you start. It does after this whole thing. Now you start with the first of many jokes.
Well, let's talk about that joke for a minute with the too dangerous thing because I think that's funny. This guy, you're showing how bad this guy is, how badass this guy is, and he's got to say like, "Oh, I don't fly too dangerous."
Yeah, like basically saying his job like. He don't give a shit about. Like, that ain't dangerous. This is what I do. Like, I get stabbed. I kick ass. I mean, you'll see later in the movie when he goes to the hospital and he starts reading over his medical records.
We're going to get to that after because there's a lot to talk about there. Let's not skip too far ahead. But yes, there is the joke of Dalton. You're Dalton, huh? I thought she'd be bigger.
Whole movie.
And this is like... Oh, my God. This joke is frustrating at times because... You said it best yesterday when we watched the movie again. You said, like, is he a midget?
He's not a midget. I mean, I don't know how tall Patrick Swayze is, but I'm assuming was...
Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze.
Rip. Oh, we lost a great. I don't know how tall he... You know, maybe he's minimum 5'10".
Yeah.
At least 5'10".
He's not a dwarf.
He's not a dwarf.
And, like, he's in jacked.
He's in, you know, trim, but ripped, you know, shredded, like, shape. I mean, Swayze's in great shape.
I don't know. I guess in the world of bouncers, everybody's really big, and
so,
I guess that's where it is.
You know, I guess with his reputation, you would think he's this enormous giant, but he's actually, you know, just a man with skill.
Mm-hmm. So, Patrick Swayze goes, he leaves the bar, he gives away his car to a bum. A raspy voice on the street.
I ain't no valet.
I ain't no valet.
Kind of sounds like Farmer Fran from Waterboy.
Yes, I think that guy's in Terminator. Don't hold me to this, but I think that guy is in the very first Terminator. I think he pulls up when the fucking electricity comes. I think that guy maybe he's big in the 80s and little bit parts, but...
Well, I've heard that voice before.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
You know, like, which you should see a doctor about that, because that's not good.
But he gives away his car, which, you know, even I've seen the movie 3,000 times now, and I'm like, why does he give away his car? Because, alright, so he gives away his car, and then you brought up the point that, like, oh, that's his junk car. He gets in a good car, his nice was in a Mercedes, and he drives to the place. But then he goes... And a little bit later, he buys another junk car.
Well, they try to show that he's such a loner. And if this does take place in New York City to Kansas City, you know, it's quite a ride. So he's such a loner. Like, he's not going to fly. He's not shipping his cars, and he has nobody else to drive 2 cars back. Mm-hmm. So he can only take one. You know, so it's like...
So you just really... That's... Wow, you just really broke this down. You really... You made this... I didn't see it like this. You broke down the boundaries of this movie.
Well, that's... I mean, really, that's what it is. It's like, I don't have no friends. I have no family. I don't even have a house. And think about it. He left that night. Mm-hmm. Not like, oh, I got to pack a bed. You know, I got to get furniture moved.
Nothing.
He left that fucking night.
He left his life behind.
Like, oh, okay, he closed the fucking club he was at. Like, all right, you know, good night. Mm-hmm. Went and took all his fucking money or whatever. He didn't even pack a fucking bag. Like, he just basically threw the car to fucking Farmer Fran and then got back in his fucking Mercedes and took off into the night.
So he goes to Double Deuce. Now, shows up at Double Deuce, and, you know, right off the bat, Double Deuce is something
nightmare.
Of nightmares. There is basically, like, WWE fights going on.
People getting raped.
Yeah, I don't even know. Cocktail waitresses getting pulled away
from
and,
their will,
and felt up, and people
and
stealing,
nobody doing anything.
Fights just breaking out like aggressive fights.
You know, my first thing was that I put it down in my notes here. Why the fuck would this guy buy this place? Like, he was talking to Dalton, like, I bought it as an investment. All your money, you couldn't buy nothing else? Buy an apartment building?
It's like when somebody buys a bar that you know is like, shady people go into, and that's one thing. Like, this is like, people are probably getting murdered on nightly. There probably are eyeballs on the floor.
Murder is sawdust on the floor.
And then there's the cage around the band, we got to talk about Jeff Healey, who is a blind... He was a real musician. If this is the first time you watch the movie, the guy that you saw, the blind guy, that's a real musician. He has albums. He has died in the years since. May he rest in peace as well. But he's just all over this movie, and they're playing behind a cage. I mean, and it makes you think like this guy's all over this. This guy has a residency at Double Deuce. Like, why would you sign up for this?
I don't know why. You're blind. You got to get some. You could have got a better gig. I don't know. The whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way about this. I mean, I felt very uncomfortable, like just sitting there watching, and
right.
Dalton's like looking at this, like,
yeah,
like
Dalton,
I've been here before,
Right. So let's move along now. Dalton goes into the club. He's looking around, and he's just looking at. He's spotting everything. He's got eyes like a hawk. He's spotting people stealing. He's spotting people like
selling drugs,
and you see it all. Like these people working there are terrible at hiding it. Like even the one waitress is like, "Oh, not here," because somebody's trying to buy drugs over. Meanwhile, like. She's really loud about it, and Dalton's just watching. He's taking this all in.
And, like, there's this blonde who's in the movie throughout the movie.
Oh, right.
The blonde bombshell, like,
she's
in this white dress.
Everywhere.
She's, like, I mean, but the first thing I thought about, being out there, we used to go out a lot ourselves on a personal level. This shithole bar, there would never be a girl that looks like this. There would never be
a girl in this. Like, this is real.
No girls would go here. I mean, once the
trash.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, once the first person got raped, nobody's going to this bar anymore.
Right.
Like,
And to bring up that girl, like, this girl is right in the, you think she's kind of going to be a one-off. She's there. And then she's all over this movie, and you really never know whose girl she is. She's kind of like the town whore, because she's like the whole town's girl, because...
She's trying to fuck Dalton.
Yeah, she's trying to fuck Dalton. Then she's with some other bad guy, like, at one point he pulls her away, and then she's with the main bad guy, like... Jimmy. We'll get to Jimmy.
We're gonna get to
Jimmy. Oh man, Jimmy! I wish Jimmy was in more of this movie. Honestly.
Best supporting. I wish there was a movie from Jimmy's point of view.
Okay, that is a terrifying movie. Before we get to that is a terrifying movie. But Jimmy, you said best supporting actor. He says maybe 5 words.
Well, you know what it is, but
sentences.
He's such a good actor that he didn't have to say anything.
Okay,
I'm lying. For the first half of the movie, I thought he was Bobby from Renegade, and
people don't know who. If you know who Bobby from Renegade is, put some comments on this when it's up, because I want to take a tally of how many people know.
We should do a podcast about Renegade.
Well, we're gonna see how many people react to Bobby from Renegade, but. So he walks in, he sees this blonde girl, gets her a little after. He's walking around, he's scoping out, and then you're already getting the people like, that's fucking Dalton. Like, one of the chicks talk to him, that she's fucking annoying girl.
I thought one of the Cusack, one related to John Cusack.
She looks like John Cusack.
The waitress looks like fucking John Cusack, and she's so fucking annoying. She's like a cross between John Cusack and the waitress from No Holds Barred, like snorting and like my brother Buck, and she's like, that's fucking Dalton, man.
Yeah, and then like everybody's like, oh
shit.
This is when you're initially getting you're hearing,
and then like
shit.
You're one of the bouncers at the Double Deuces tells the other guys like, yo, you see that guy over there? That's Dalton. He killed the guy once in Memphis.
That guy he tells, is that Terry Funk? We have to mention...
No, Terry Funk.
Speaking of WWE, we have to mention the legendary wrestler Terry Funk. He's one of the bouncers, and he's just angry, and he works at Double Deuce.
And he's got a perm.
And he's just beating the shit out of people. So...
Wrestling moves.
Right. So everybody knows his name. Everybody knows his rep. And then, when does the fight break out? Does it break out before he goes and says hello to Jeff Healey, or after?
Before. Wait, no.
The big fight?
No. After he says hello to Jeff Healey.
Okay, so he goes to say hello to Jeff Healey. Now, let's talk about this for a second. He knows Jeff Healey, the blind guy. He goes up to him, so the bandmates see him coming, and he's like, he's giving his little wave, because, Dalton's friendly with this guy, and then he sneaks up, and he's like, hey, says something about a white boy.
He goes, you're pretty good for a blind white boy.
And then Jeff Healey has a recognition on his face, a look of recognition, and he's like, yeah, and I thought you'd be bigger. And then they laugh and they hug. But, how does this... I don't know if I'm insulting the blind community here, but, how does Jeff Healey...
We've insulted a lot of communities, and we're not even a half an hour.
This movie insulted... Give me a sec here. Okay. How does Jeff Healey even understand the concept of the I thought you were bigger joke?
Okay, now that's insulting the blind community.
Realistically, do you know how much explaining would have to be done on Dalton's part? Dalton would have to explain, he's not a big guy, and everywhere he goes, he gets this joke about the fact that everybody thought he'd be bigger.
You know what?
Jeff Healey does not know how big... And you said something, maybe he felt him and he...
Well, like The Mask with Rocky Dennis. and they
That might be a future podcast movie, Mask of Rocky Guys.
and they
Feel good comedy of the year.
Yeah, it's like
of 1984.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Right, that was in the trailer.
Yeah, and Cher and Wade Garrett. No,
okay, yeah, that is Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
and I would pay to see that movie.
Shit. What is
Sam Elliott?
Sam Elliott
Is in Mask.
We're going off track.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
So he says this joke. They're old friends.
Laughing,
hugging. And I guess this joke is all over the place.
And this starts setting up from the beginning, though. It gives you a little foreshadowing. Like, this blind guy has the inside scoop on everything.
Oh, he has the inside scoop. We'll get to that.
It's like Lincoln has it.
Right, you're right. You called it. He did go see him before the fight so then a big fight breaks out. This is ECW.
A melee, like just
this is
Royal Rumble.
Oh my God. Terry Funk throwing people through tables.
Yeah.
Dalton does something badass without even moving. He dodges a bottle that comes at him.
Yeah.
People are getting their ass kicked. How does the fight stop?
The fight doesn't really... I think it just kind of cuts to him, going to talk to the fucking Tillman upstairs. Tillman's in his office.
Okay.
And he calls Dalton in, and then Dalton and him talk. And
so when does the
fight start?
No. I know the fight starts over the boobs.
Over the boob. The guy touching the boob. I don't really want to get into it.
Yeah, that just makes me sick. That scene. It doesn't make much
$20. I don't know.
And then he gets mad that he doesn't have the money. Like, why would he get so mad?
Why didn't you ask him for the money up front?
I know. You're offering something that's ridiculous.
But
the fight breaks out. No, I was going to ask you, when does it say... When does Jeff Healy say, his name is Dalton? When does that occur? That's after the fight.
Oh, no, that's like the next day he's there. That's not even
scratch that. So, everybody knows who Dalton is.
Yeah.
Jeff Healy, everybody knows the reputation. Jeff Healy's friend's blind singer, is friends with Dalton.
He leaves. He goes...
All right, he leaves. He finds a farmhouse.
He gets a farmhouse from Farmer John.
Santa Claus, is that it's called? Creepy Santa Claus. He goes to a farm. He finds a farmhouse.
Perfect.
Perfect. Of course, it's furnished. It's actually really nice up there.
For the piece of shit that's renting it, this guy looks like a real piece of shit. Not a piece of shit, but dirtbag.
You just called the old guy a piece of shit?
The old guy.
You get a taste of the bad guy a little bit. Because Ben Gazzara.
Of course, not only is his farmhouse beautiful and furnished, but it's across the street from his rival.
From Brad Wesley. Wesley, played by Ben Gazzara, who you get a taste of him in a helicopter flying over the farm, scaring the horses.
On purpose.
Santa Claus guy gets mad, whatever. Next night at the club.
Goes in.
And he's basically, they're having a meeting.
Listen, and, Frank Tillman, the owner of Double Deuce, is like, listen... This is Dalton. I invested a lot of money into this club. This is going to be the new Double Deuce. He had like blueprints out.
Right.
And he goes, and I hired the best in the business, the best cooler in the business. Like everybody knows what a fucking cooler was. Because first time I was like, all right, like what
and there are
like
still,
an igloo cooler.
Right.
Like, I didn't know what the fuck you're talking.
There are still people there that like they hear it's Dalton. They're like, oh shit, that's Dalton and fucking, shit like.
And so like there's a crowd of like 15 people, and they're like, and I hired the best damn cooler in the business to protect my investment.
And he's showing like the blueprint of his Double Deuce.
And he's like, okay, and then like he's like, I hired the best damn cooler in the business to protect my investment. And Dalton's like, walks over, doesn't even say like, oh hey, I'm Dalton, He's just like, Terry, or whatever the fuck Terry Funk's name is, he's like, you're gone. He goes, you don't have the right temperament for this business.
Right. Like, he throws Terry Funk out, which he just made a future enemy. We find out later he's boys with Ben Gazzara because we see him at his party.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then the tall guy, the giant,
that guy's weird to look at.
Yeah, he makes me very uncomfortable.
That guy is weird to look at.
I thought he was the father from Richie Rich at one point, but I realized it wasn't.
He's not. I almost wish he was the father from Richie
Rich. So yeah, he anyway, fires that guy, fires the drug dealer girl, the waitress, and then he's like, listen, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And
he basically gives his rules, which are like,
and he's like, if you
kind
don't
of like the rules are very like the screenwriter was very just took rules from everywhere, like it's my way or the highway, very basic rules.
It was like very philosophical, and then you find out he took up philosophy.
Spoiler alert, Sal! Come on, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. We want to drop that bomb when it's necessary.
And,
but he gives the rules, and then he says, most of all,
Be nice.
Like, be nice. And then they're like, haha, be nice. The fat guy, the big fat guy that should not be a bouncer just because he's fat. But he's like, you see him in action after. He's a pathetic fighter.
Again, I thought he was the guy that played on the same team as Michael J. Fox in Teen Wolf.
That's the guy from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee's, yeah, that's...
My dad said I got anything I want, Pee-wee. That's him. But he's not in this movie. I'm sorry, people. We're really focusing on him. He's not in this movie. So, right. So then they have that night, the rest of the night, right? Doesn't he fire a couple more people?
No, that's it for tonight. He does the next day.
Well, okay. That's when
the place is not open right now.
I'm scrambled because
you're fucked up.
When is the party? Because this movie like mind fucks you. When is the party where you're talking about the big guy and then the big guy? When is that party across the street?
This is not yet. This is maybe like a week from now. No, right now this is.
So wait, you're saying the Roadhouse takes the course of a whole summer?
I thought.
What is the time? Can we get into that for a second?
I think years.
You think that Roadhouse takes place
over
the course of decades?
The construction alone on this bar that happened.
Well, you know what?
This couldn't happen overnight.
Because I always watch Roadhouse, not really paying attention, but like, you know, there's a reconstruction of this bar,
outside and in.
Like this had to take course of a year. Maybe.
Months.
It might have even been a year.
I know a thing or two about construction, and
do you?
And this kind of outside fixture work and everything, cosmetic and, I'm sure structural, and this took less than 3 months.
All right, so when does Dalton have the first night?
Okay, so there's that night where he fires people. The next night.
The next night
is the first night, and now this is when he sees the bartender stealing.
Okay, so he fires that guy.
And the other guy fucking
banging
the girl, and he fires him.
And then he has that very funny joke where he's like, I'm on my break.
Which, in reality...
Stay on it.
He tells him out. Stay on your break.
I'd kind of fight that.
I'd fight that too. I don't know who he's gonna go to, but like he was on his break.
He was on his break.
So if you're
like
banging,
a stand-up guy.
I don't know about stand-up guy. He seems like somebody's creepy uncle that touches you. Like, hey,
he looks like somebody I know's dad. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
He looks because these people are gonna be listening to this, but hopefully. But then they have a fight comes. Because this is that now. The fight comes. Because the guy, he kind of signals that guy to, like, take care of...
Well, because the girl gets up on the table, and he signals the guy, the other bouncer guy works for him, he's like, take care of this, be nice, but they're following the be nice thing. Anyway, that bouncer gets punched in the face, pulls out a knife, the guy pulls out a knife to go, like, cut the bouncer's throat.
Right.
Dalton comes over, puts his head through the table. Through a fucking table, and just, like, the other bouncer, he's out cold, the guy, nose busted. And they just take him away.
Right.
And everybody's like, what the
Everybody's
fuck?
like, oh, they want to, like, clap, and they start, like, an applause. And then Jeff Healy's bandmate whispers something in his ear.
Like, yo, Dalton just killed the guy.
Dalton just fucking beat the shit out of the guy. Everybody wants to know who he is, because Jeff Healy just takes the mic, and he's like, his name is Dalton.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, clapping, round of applause.
And Patrick Swayze, like, fucking cussing.
Yeah, and then the girls watching Patrick Swayze.
The blonde. The blonde
girl's
in on her
face.
Yeah,
a lot of, like, I don't know. To bring that up, let's bring up for a minute, I just got to drop the bomb that Dean Cundy was like a cinematographer on this movie, and for film buffs and stuff, he's a respected cinematographer. He did movies like Halloween. He did a lot of Carpenter movies, but he's a guy who does a lot of respected movies. I don't know how he got the job of Roadhouse, but this is pretty... He was in a good peak in his career, so I don't... But he did Roadhouse.
Anyway,
but yeah, there's a zoom of the girl.
Anyway, cuts to the night being over. He fires the bartender
and then... Like, the owner's all excited, and he's like, nobody died. It's a good night, He's
like, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
I'm like, why is it going to get a lot worse? And why does Dalton know that it's going to get a lot worse?
Why do people got to die?
Like, this is a bar. Like, it shouldn't get a lot worse. It should actually get better because people just saw you beat the shit out of a guy.
Practically kill a guy. Anyway, he gets out, walks outside his car. Oh, we missed a part early. He bought an old car again.
He bought another old car.
And you saw him buying 4 spare tires.
Right.
And you're like, why is he putting 4 spare tires in the truck? Anyway, he leaves the bar right now, and all his tires are flat.
Out, right.
Antenna's broken, windshield's broken. Okay. Gets in his car, goes home. Cuts to next morning.
Do we get the pool party then across the street? Across the way? I think the pool party might be slipped in there because in my notes I wrote sex pool party. Sex pool party.
I don't think it is though. Maybe.
Right, because we're getting... No, I think we do. I think we might. Do we get that?
No, not yet. Not yet, because now this is the next day, so the waitress... John Cusack waitress knows where he lives. She shows up at his house, and Dalton's naked. This is when you see Dalton ass.
Okay, you see Dalton ass.
And
the girl's like, oh, like she's never seen an ass before.
Like, they're basically trying to say like, Dalton's just a fucking like a phenom of a fucking man. Like, oh my god, like her fucking legs just want to open. Like she wants this guy, and she's like, wow, and she's like laughing to herself, and he's like, why are you laughing? And she's like, because I'm looking at a dead man, you know, you shouldn't have fought. But she's not giving him any fucking answers, and, like, it's really fucking annoying. Okay, anyway, now you're asking, you keep getting about this creepy fucking sex party, and I'm going to get to it right now. This is when he leaves there, and now he shows up at Red.
Okay, he meets Red, whose name is Red. Now, for those who don't know, because I got to give a little summary of who this man is. This man is, in the movie, his name is Red Webster or something. Red. He owns, like, an auto place. This is actually Red West, who is known for being like a close friend of Elvis Presley.
And bodyguard.
And bodyguard. And I think he wrote some of his songs, according to my father.
Yeah, Memphis. He was part of the Memphis
Mafia. He's in this movie.
This is, I mean, Red West, words of my father, mean motherfucker.
Mean badass.
You know? I mean, Red West is
Memphis Mafia.
He was a real life badass.
Now we're taking
mean motherfucker. In the words of my fucking father.
We're taking credentials from my father here, so I don't know. It's a little shady. But...
my father's a big fucking fan of Elvis. Big fucking fan of Red West.
Right. So Red West is in this movie. He goes to see Red West. He gets some stuff fixed on his car, and then what? Now is this?
This is when he meets Brad Wesley.
No, that's after. Now you're getting confused. You're getting ahead of yourself.
No, when he meets Red West for the first time is when Brad Wesley walks into the store and he meets him personally for the first time.
Okay, right.
You know, that's the...
Did he drive on the street yet?
Not yet. So that happens later. When you see, after they broke all the bottles, the second time he goes to Red's place. That's after that. Okay. So it's in between. So anyway, he leaves there. This is the first time you see Jimmy, though.
Okay.
You don't know his name's Jimmy yet? This is when he was still Bobby from Renegade to me. And he's just ice fucking grilling Dalton.
So let's explain. So he's in the shop. Red West, talking to Red West, nice guy, and then in walks Ben Gazzara, who is Wesley, who basically we're gonna find out runs this fucking town, and he's with the dude in the jean vest, necklace, fucking mullet. Would you say mullet? Like slight mullet? Would you say mullet?
Yeah, definitely a
slight mullet, and he just ice grill. You could tell this guy's badass because he just ice grills
fucking Swayze.
Like he wants to fuck him.
Him too. And
and that
sizing him up.
That comes in later.
Like how big's his dick.
Yeah, like really eye fucking him. They leave. He goes on his way. And then you get a hint of like that Wesley is kind of like a bad guy at first because you see like that Red West passed a comment about him ruining his day by showing up, you know. And then
it cuts to he goes back to the Double Deuce later in the night. And he sees that the bartender that he fired the previous night and a couple of the goons, they're back upstairs in the owner's office. So Dalton walks in.
Right, but you know what? You see, this was before, because I wrote Brad Wesley, Ice Grill, Indian necklace guy. I didn't know his name was Jimmy at that point. And then he also does the karate in the backyard at this point.
The Tai Chi, yes, I'm sorry.
He does the Tai Chi. And this is like, it's got to be like 5 minutes long, and him with no shirt on, and the Santa Claus guy's watching him.
Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck did I rent this apartment
to? And Ben Gazzara's watching him, too, right? Yeah. And he's just doing the karate, and you're getting a taste of, like, how badass Swayze is. At this point, you know, you're just getting, this guy's got more to him than just, he's doing this Tai Chi in the hot sun in the morning.
Yeah, and anyway, so then he leaves,
Then the bartender's back, as you were saying.
And... Anyway, they're like, oh, because it turns out the bartender is Brad Wesley's nephew, whatever. I mean, I think honestly, people, you need to see the fucking movie. We're not going to tell you everything, but like, you know,
it's his nephew. He's got two other guys with him, Fat Guy and the Giant. Does he have the Giant?
No, not the Giant. The Giant, you only see him at the party, and later in the night, smashing cases of beer down.
We'll get to that in a second. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Anyway, the bartender has words with Swayze and pulls out a giant fucking
the bartender wants his job back, and he's kind of like pressuring the owner. And then Dalton's like, no, you're not going to let this happen. Pulls out, giant Rambo knife.
Machete.
Like, where was he even keeping this thing?
And he calls, I wrote this down, he calls Swayze Chicken Dick.
He calls him Chicken Dick, and he says he wants him. He kicks him, and then Swayze proceeds to kick him through a glass window.
Yeah.
Kicks him through a window, Big fight breaks out. He beats the fat guy up. He beats the third guy up. And then, now, Swayze, did he get stabbed? What's the deal?
He got cut.
Because he goes to the hospital.
He got stabbed in his side, underneath his armpit.
This moves the movie along. Now, he goes to the hospital, of course. And now, you're kind of like on the fence of like, is there a love interest in this movie? Because you think that John Cusack with the wig, is she trying to be the love interest? No, we got another love interest. He goes to the hospital. He meets a nurse.
Yeah, well, Swayze's the man. I mean, he's not going to fuck a girl that looks like John Cusack.
So he meets the nurse, and he has this whole joke about natural causes. Like, the wound is from natural causes.
Carries his own medical history.
Now, like, this is what I got to get into. Like, because we're going to get to this now. He carries his own medical history. Which is ridiculous, because why would he have that?
Well, just to show, like, this is how I live. Like, I live in a... And then she starts saying his medical history, and it's like 3 gunshots, like, stabbings, concussion, like 35 broken bones.
You're forgetting something, Sal, though. He carries his medical history, but then it also says that he went to NYU and studied philosophy.
Why?
That's not a part of your medical history. He also carries his education history around. Is he walking around with the elementary school he went to?
The grad school and a cap and gown. She's like, oh, saw in your file that you... graduated from NYU, majored in philosophy. Like, what the fuck? What did you tell us? Favorite food is chicken nuggets?
Yeah, like, he majored in philosophy. They gotta get that out of the way. Because we're gonna show, like, this guy's not a dumbass. Just because he's a bouncer, cooler, in a bar, he's not a dumbass.
Trying to say, like, he chose this life.
He chose this life.
And he's damn proud of it.
So he carries that around. So they meet, and he's like, oh, come to the Double Deuce sometime, which will come back, later. They have a little thing. Obviously, there's going to be the romance.
Never not enough. For all the money he's getting paid, he should be worrying about cleaning his fucking bar up and not getting laid. Like, right, come to the Double Deuce. Why? So you could be the guy fucking the girl? You're going to fuck the girl in the cleanup closet like the other guy was? Like,
but this is getting back to the beginning when he's really, like, he has all these things set up, but, like, when it benefits him, he don't give a shit.
He's a fucking hypocrite.
He would have killed, I always feel like he would have killed that Santa Claus guy in a second if it benefited him. Because that guy's like, oh, you're trustworthy, and then he has
like,
that
yes,
joke,
sir.
Like, you expect me to believe that?
Like,
no, I
sir.
don't.
No,
like,
sir.
I'll
like,
snap your neck in your sleep.
Yeah.
If I have to.
Well, this goes back to the fact that he's a loner. A rebel.
He don't care.
He's a drifter.
He don't even care about that girl at the end.
He don't give a shit
He's
about
borderline sociopath.
Well, I mean, we learned that he don't give a shit about this girl later on in the movie.
Right. Okay, right.
I mean...
We'll get to that girl, too, because she's a little weird, too. My next note, and if this is right, is giant monster truck. Yes. Is this when they're watching him, or is this when they...
This is when
they're watching him, I think, because I think I got the car dealership thing later.
No, that's later on. No, not watching him yet. This is when you just see a giant monster truck pull up to the house. This is after the guys were supposed to go straighten out West.
Okay.
And
oh, so they come back and then like Wesley.
They come back to the Double Deuce. Remember, they go to beat him up. He's got a fucking spur. He's got a knife sticking out of his boot.
Right, and then he spots the knife from like 100
yards
away.
Right boot, and
right boot, and then the guy goes to kick him. They drag him out.
Yeah.
And then there's the monster truck. And then
she shows up.
She shows up like immediately.
The doctor shows up. And
she just wants Swayze's dick.
Yeah, she wants that fucking his dick.
They're really good on female roles in this because every girl in this movie just wants Swayze dick. They don't give these girls any character development.
Like, not me. No, like every girl just wants to be like open their legs and be like dropping low. They want Swayze's load.
If this movie's offensive to, out of all the races and stuff, it's offensive to. Definitely offensive to women. Positively offensive to women.
Yeah, no women with any power or
especially a nurse like that.
No, she's a fucking doctor.
She's a doctor?
She ain't a nurse. Like the nurse.
She was a nurse.
No, she's a doctor.
Oh, this is. This opens because I got something to say later, and this just fucking makes it even worse.
She's a fucking doctor.
We'll get to that in a sec.
The nurse is that other stupid bitch just wiping his wound. Like she's a doctor.
Okay. All right.
That's why they call her Doc.
Okay, so she's a doctor. That was sexist on my part then for assuming that she's just a nurse, which is hard enough. But we got some Jimmy the Badass guy, the jean jacket. He's there. Now, is this when they go back to the house and Ben Gazzara reprimands them?
Yes.
Okay, so Ben Gazzara is like, you just really see that this guy's a psycho because he has the 3 of them lined up and he's like, oh, I forgive you and I forgive you. But then the other guy's like, I don't believe you.
O'Connor or whatever.
Whatever his fucking name is.
Like, Donahue.
I don't believe you. He's like, I'm sorry, boss. I'm sorry.
I swear to God. He's like, no. You're a crier. You know what your problem is? You're a bleeder.
You bleed. No, but that's after he punches
after he punches
him. He knocks him in the face, and then, like, he keeps beating this guy. He beats this guy savagely.
And then he says, "Get this coward piece of shit out of here."
That is one of my favorite lines. I want a t-shirt, "Get this coward piece of shit out of here." Yeah. And like, he doesn't kill him though, right? Because I kind of assumed that they took him into a vacant lot and shot him.
You don't see him for the rest of the movie.
I think they might have took him to a vacant lot and shot him in the back of the head, honestly. Like, because it's weakness, and Ben Gazzara does not like that.
And he's a bleeder. He bleeds.
He doesn't like that you bleed. Like you can't control him.
Well, obviously, Ben Gazzara is a warlock.
I don't even know what that means, but... What? Okay, anyway. So, then we get back, and... Wade Garrett? Well, I might have skipped things.
I think he calls Wade Garrett.
Okay, introducing Wade Garrett. He calls... Oh, yeah, because he has the spots. Before the knife in the boot thing, he calls Wade Garrett, kind of for, like, advice. So you get a little tease of Wade Garrett. Now, Wade Garrett's got this long hair. He's old. He's Sam Elliott.
And a bad leg. A
bad leg. This will come in later. And he's kind of like... His fighting style...
He's like, "Hey, mijo."
He's all tall and shit.
Yeah, like, lunky, but, like, he kind of, like... He protects that knee. He's got to protect that leg.
And he's doing the same
and he's
thing.
Like, "Hey, mijo." Yeah, calls him mijo.
And he's all like, he gives him advice for a second.
But you could tell, like, he's Dalton's classier.
Right.
Where, like, fucking Wade Garrett's working in, like, this fucking rundown titty bar. Like, hillbilly
He's
shit.
worn down.
I mean, we're going to get to the part later.
He probably can't get a lot of jobs at this point because he's a little more beat up. But, so you introduce Wade Garrett. And then he also, like... So the spot's the knife. Now Jimmy goes in the bar at this point, doesn't he? Doesn't the girl?
Yeah.
The girl's there, and like she can't.
Well, this is before the reprimanding,
right? Yeah, some point before the reprimanding, you see the girl in the bar with the blonde hair from earlier. We're all over the place, but the movie's all over the place too, so deal with it.
Yeah.
And then, like, she flirts with Swayze.
She's like, "Don't you want to fuck me?" Or
yeah.
Whatever. Like, doesn't even try to, like, be hard to get. She's like...
Yeah, they got another girl.
And he don't even look at her. Like, and she's like, "Don't you want me to take you back to your place so you could fuck me?"
Yeah,
like,
another girl. Poor character in these girls in these movies. And then the guy Jimmy, the jean jacket bad guy you thought was Bobby from Renegade, he comes out of nowhere, and you kind of assume that's his girl because he pulls her away, just looks at Swayze.
Yeah.
And then I believe, if I'm right, they go on a date. Him and the doctor. At this point.
Yeah.
So they go on a date. He's showing her the barn, and he's basically like sweetening it up, like, "Yo, this place has to smell like horse shit."
I think this is like a second date. Is this like a second date?
I don't know.
It's a second, because he fucks her.
Well, does why it has to be a second date? These girls have any morals in this movie? They don't have any morals. But they're just looking to fuck Swayze.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think it is a
it's
first
from that
fucking
night
date.
at the Double Deuce, I think, because he doesn't have like a conventional date with her. Yo, come to think about it, now you could correct us if we're wrong in the comments or whatever, but like, I think she comes to the Double Deuce, he leaves with her, brings her back to his barn, and fucks her. I think that's what goes down.
I think they go get, like, ice cream.
And then he fucks her.
Then he goes back to his car, and his car's, like, beat up again.
Okay.
And then she drives him to the farm.
Right, so then they go to the barn, and then he's, like, showing off the barn. He's like, "Yeah, it's pretty nice." And he's trying to, like, sweeten it up, like, "Yo, this it's gotta smell like horse shit and
Horses
animals. Like,
yeah.
It's a farm. Like, it's not even, like, there's no door or anything. It's right upstairs, a barn. It's the upper level of a barn.
Loft. It's a loft, yeah. It's
in a barn.
In a barn.
Like, there's just a staircase from the barn, so there's probably, like, cow shit down there and stuff. Like,
yeah, her feet are probably covered in shit.
Yeah, like, and he's, like, classing it up. Like, he's, like, sweetening it up. He's saying, "Oh, it's... Oh, he's say, the horses let me know when somebody's coming around," or something like that,
For sure. Not like, "Oh, I live in a fucking barn."
Right. So then they fuck aggressively. Like, he essentially, like, he slams her against the wall and stuff, and there's some music playing.
Mm-hmm.
They bang. Very intense sex scene. That goes on for a long time, too. It's not like a lot of these sex scenes in these action movies, they just kind of show kissing, then it fades to the next morning. This goes on for, like, a good 5 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressive kissing. And then they're sitting naked outside. And that's basically the end of the sex scene. Oh, man, now my notes are all over the place, just like this movie.
Well, then Brad Wesley's watching them, like basically watching them fuck or whatever,
Right, he is watching them, and you find out later that this was kind of like his girl or his wife or something.
The blind guy has the inside scoop. But,
right. The blind guy fills you in on plot details, so if you're missing out on some plot details, go to the blind guy. Now, is this, at this point, the bar is like popping now, right?
I think it's starting to get busy.
So this guy put like $5 million into the bar.
Yeah.
Keith David's working there at this point.
Way too much fucking money to,
Right.
I mean, anyway, at some fucking point, Patrick Swayze gets called for by Brad Wesley.
Brad Wesley, yeah.
And Brad Wesley's like, oh, we're a lot alike. I grew up in the tough streets of Chicago. And and fucking Patrick Swayze ain't hearing nothing.
No,
about
he
it,
ain't dealing with
and
this guy.
Brad Wesley's like, oh, how much would it cost for me if I bought a bar for you to come and run it? And Patrick Swayze's like, no amount of money.
Yeah.
And Brad Wesley takes that as a fucking...
He don't like that because he buys everybody in the town. Then he says some ridiculous stuff about, like, J.C. Penney's coming there because of him.
Because of him. He's bringing J.C. Penney.
Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, this guy...
Well, not enough. All the money this guy has, apparently, he shouldn't even be fucking around at the Double Deuce.
Could we say that it's obvious that Brad Wesley has had people murdered and has probably murdered people with his own hand?
Yes.
And he's got J.C. Penney coming in?
Yeah.
Did he threaten them? Did he, like...
No, I think it's like, oh, shit. Like, Brad Wesley's got a lot of money. And
he went for corporate meetings with J.C. Penney and got them to come to this shit down.
Honestly,
where does this movie take place?
This movie takes place in Kansas City.
And you know that for a fact?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, in my mind how this works.
Yeah, anyway, this movie, you're trying to make it real, and you're forgetting that it's a movie.
It's based in fiction.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's fast forward a little bit. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit. The bar's fixed up because we're already almost like an hour. We got to get this done.
We're only in the first act. So,
yeah, we haven't even moved. We're fast forwarding this a little bit. Okay, so the bar's fixed up. Wade Garrett shows up while Swayze's getting his ass kicked. This is also when the giant guy is slamming the beers, like aggressively picking up beers, slamming them.
I don't know if I'm going to insult anybody when I say this, but I'm pretty sure the giant guy has a slight, mental illness.
Now, for those who don't know, if you've seen this movie 20 times, like us, you know who the giant guy is. So we're not trying to get to the viewers like that.
He's got weird jackets. He looks like, like Gilligan from Gilligan's Island.
If this is the first time you're watching this movie, this giant guy's in a couple scenes. He's in a scene, because you probably don't know who he's talking about. That's what I'm trying to clarify. He's at the pool party scene towards the beginning of the movie.
And Brad Wesley's like, I love this guy.
Yeah. He's that guy. He's very unsettling to look at. He may have Down syndrome or something. But
you took it to another level, though.
But he's... Now I'm picturing him throwing the beers as a Down syndrome, like they hired this Down syndrome.
Please stop.
Okay, I'm not gonna... But anyway, he's picking up the beers, and now Wade Garrett comes out of nowhere, and he's just like... He said, did he say something cool?
Well, no, again, establishing, because they always keep doing this, is like, somebody's like, stay out of this, Grandpa. Like,
right, because they gotta clarify that he's old. And in real life, he's probably not that much older than Swayze.
42, maybe, 43.
How old do you think Swayze's in this movie?
Swayze's got to be about 30, early 30. I'd say 35.
Okay, so how old do you think Sam Elliott is in that movie? Do you think he's much older?
You're talking like...
Wait, hold on. You're the mathematician, right? So my brother's good with math. So Sam Elliott was born in 1944. So how old was he in 1989?
So he was 45 years old.
See that? See how fast that is? All right. So you say Swayze was like in his 30s.
When was Swayze born?
Swayze was born in 1952.
So Swayze was 37.
Okay,
so they're like 9 years apart, 8 years apart.
So
like
Sam Elliott's a little older looking, but like they have to establish that Sam Elliott's this old guy, so they're always constantly like, "Hey, old man," blah blah blah. So he comes, he kicks ass. He essentially saves Patrick Swayze to some degree.
Yeah,
because Swayze's in deep shit.
Swayze's in trouble at this point.
And then Swayze's like, shows in the bar and blah blah blah, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta introduce you to somebody." Takes them to the hospital.
Okay.
They pick up the doctor. Now, this is where I have a problem.
I got a big problem.
This is where I got a lot of problems.
Okay, they go out on this night to, like, hang out together, drink, and, have a good time. And okay, it turns out, like, Wade Garrett establishes himself as, like, Wade Garrett could go all night, he just wants to keep
Wade Garrett, I want to go back to Wade Garrett's fighting style for a minute, though, because he's got to, like, run his fingers through his hair, like, every time he throws a punch. And he's lanky, and he's tall, and it's just funny to watch. But he brings Wade Garrett to the hospital. They pick up the girl. Now, I could suspend my belief for a lot of things in this movie, but like this bothers me. They pick up this girl, and you just said she's a doctor. She's not a nurse.
Doctor.
She proceeds to pull an all-nighter
with these two psychopaths.
With essentially two barroom brawlers. Lowlives. And then she even passed a comment at one point that she's like, oh, I gotta get up for my shift in a little bit.
So I gotta get a couple hours of sleep.
Like, and she's a doctor?
Like, what are you doing? And, all right, yeah, but you're skipping ahead. Like, okay, they go out drinking all night. Wade Garrett's dancing with her and practically trying to fuck her. I mean, at one point, I thought she was gonna fuck the both of them.
Yeah.
You know? And
it makes you
he
think
unzipped
that.
his pants to show his
Oh my God.
He got no underwear on. Basically shows her his dick.
Well, in the context of the movie, they're telling stories. I guess we fade to a part. Before they go to another breakfast place, they're in a bar, and they're basically telling stories about injuries, lethal weapon, like you said. And, like, he literally pulls down his pants, and Sam Elliott's pubes are on the screen. He's not wearing underwear, because why would he wear underwear? He's a hillbilly. And shows the scar, and, like, shows it to this girl. Like, that's your pubes.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he took his dick out and stuck it in a soda.
And then they're dancing, and, like, he's trying to fuck her. And, like, you know what's funny? Like,
he pretty much fucking says it.
He says, like, oh, I'm trying to get you to leave with me. And, like, that would be funny if Dalton was right next to them, because he'd hear it. But, like, Dalton doesn't hear that. And Dalton just says, like...
He proceeds to, like, hold her close and hold her face.
Yeah, it's unsettling, because, honestly, I think he's kind of doing the whole, like, oh, you had the young tiger, now you want the older, the wiser
the old buck.
You want
the old lion, you know?
He's trying to fuck her. They're trying to fuck her. I think they're trying to get a threesome going. And then she goes to the bathroom. And you get, like, a taste of some more of Dalton's backstory. And there's some, like, this is, I guess, if there was anything going for Oscar in this movie, you say, not that this movie was going for Oscar, but if anything's going for Oscar in this movie, it's this scene. Because they're talking, and there's some music on, like, some emotional music. And he's like, you didn't know that girl was married. They're talking about, like, and then, like, the music's, he's like, when a gun's held to your head.
You got two options. It's like, either die, get killed, or kill that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, and so basically they're summing up that Dalton was fucking with a girl in Memphis, because this is where this shit took place. And turned out the girl was married, I guess, and you're to believe that the girl's husband found out, went and pulled the gun on Dalton, and Dalton had no choice, and he killed the guy.
Right, so it haunts Dalton that he killed this guy.
Yeah, and, like, you know, 1 second.
Did they go into, like, how he got off? In self-defense? So they talked about that earlier.
Talked about how it was self-defense, supposedly.
Right, it was self-defense. You don't know the situation, but you hear the rumors, ripping a guy's throat out, you hear the rumors. So this is all, like, you got to save this in the back of your mind, because this is all going to come into play later. Yeah. So you get a little bit of backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
You get Wade Garrett basically trying
to fuck.
Elements of the future, saying, you know, when the girl's saying that I gotta get some sleep, and he's like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, hint, hint. I'm just jumping right to this. I don't care if I'm out of order.
Go ahead.
They fucking set Red's place on fire.
Yeah, okay. I think this is a good place to start. They fucking... Because Red refuses to pay. Because basically, everybody in the town, we're to believe that everybody in the town has to pay protection money to Brad Wesley. And he makes it like a fund, like bettering their town.
Right.
But in reality, so anyway, they fucking set this building on fire. And at first, you don't even know. You think fucking Red is in there. And we were actually watching with some people, and some people that we watched had never seen it before, and they were like, don't fucking tell me Red's in there. And honestly, I didn't even remember. I
don't know why the emotional connection to Red, he's in 2 seconds of the movie.
I mean, he's a lovable guy.
I guess he's a lovable guy. But let me get to one thing. The building goes on fire. And then somebody runs in and is like, yo, Dalton, Red's place on fire. Yo, Dalton is mid-shift at the Double Deuce, runs out, and starts running towards the fire. Yo, one thing could be said. He's badass. He knows how to kick ass. Are we to believe that he's to fist fight the fire? Where is he going?
I think he thought Red was in there and he was going to go get him.
Like, this could have been a different movie if he ran in. If he ran in and, like, then the building blew up, like, he would have been burned to death along with Red. Like,
Red didn't burn to death, though.
But let's, if Red was in the building, but what was his plan?
I don't know. I don't think he had a plan.
Yo, if you've seen the movie, please see the movie. If you haven't watched the movie and you're listening to this, shut this off right now. But The building is engulfed with flames.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe again, you're trying to make this too literal. It's a movie and a fucking great one at that. So anyway, go ahead. Red is alive. Red pulls up in his pickup truck and is like, "Son of a bitch!"
Son of a bitch. He's disappointed.
Like he knows Brad Wesley.
It blows.
And everybody knows Wesley was behind this.
So now,
whatever. They go back into the club.
They go. Oh,
and Brad Wesley is in there.
Brad Wesley's in it. Yo, fastest. He got there just in time. He's in the club. He's with fucking Jimmy.
And he's like, what a fucking shame about Red's place.
And then he makes the blonde girl dance.
And get naked.
And now you start to believe, is this his girl?
Well, we can't forget that he beat the shit out of the blonde girl, too. You already knew it was
when she went to the house before, she had, like, horrible makeup.
Horrible.
Like, whoever did the makeup, like, made it look like Freddy Krueger.
Like a fucking truck ran over her face.
Like, they burnt her face. She's all healed now, though, right? Because she couldn't be ugly when she danced. So she's all healed up. Dances on stage. Very nice breasts. Dances on stage. You know, Jeff Healey goes along with it for whatever reason. And then...
Well, because he's blind. And he don't want to get killed.
That's what I don't understand. Like, Jeff Healey's Dalton's friend and stuff. And, like, he just goes along with what Ben Gazzara says. Like, he's just like, oh, dance. And, like... And then Dalton, you know, gets her off the stage. There's a little... And then... we get to see Jimmy in action.
What kind of guy Jimmy is.
Because we're getting teased the whole movie that Jimmy is a badass.
Well, you don't believe, like, Jimmy is fucking... Brad Wesley's like right-hand man. Like,
he's his gopher.
It's his boy. Like, this is his bodyguard. And you like, why? And now you know why. Because he uses a fucking pool cube to flip onto a stage.
Wait, let's
like a fucking vault. Like an Olympic vault.
Get to that in a second. Let's not forget that he takes out, like, all the bouncers.
Every bouncer that
with pool cues. He's very, very good with pool cue. And he takes out all the bouncers. Then he does the flip onto the stage. And he...
Well, he was also in The Color of Money. With Paul Newman.
I believe he is. He does the flip on the stage, and he fucking calls out Wade Garrett.
It's like, you!
First. He's like, you!
And Wade Garrett starts fucking climbing over there.
Right,
like,
so Wade Garrett's all sloppy.
Crippled and shit.
And they fight, and then Dalton comes, and just at the time they're about to fight, Wesley's like, enough. You know, he's like, whatever. And then he starts, like, talking to Dalton, saying, oh, we should have...
Well, this ain't working out,
Dalton. And then, like, you know, there's, like, a dialogue scramble in this movie, I think, because then Wade Garrett says, after they leave, Wade Garrett's like, same town, new story, huh, pal? That's what he says. That was definitely supposed to be the other way around, and they kept it in the movie, right? Because it doesn't make sense.
Oh, he was supposed to say new town.
That had to be in the movie he says same town, new story, because I wrote it down. I was like, this has got to be wrong, so that was overlooked amongst other things. Then let's fast forward to, I think it's the next day. The next day, the next day, Dalton, the doctor, and Jeff Healey, who's sitting in the backseat.
I don't even know
what's going on.
Why are they bringing the blind guy to the fucking...
I don't know if they went out to breakfast or something, but they were hanging out, and then they go to the dealership. There's some kind of thing going on at this car dealership. Oh, my God.
Brad Wesley's there, basically... Jimmy, they're all there. All the guys are there. All the players. And,
all the players.
Okay, anyway, they take this huge monster truck and basically run through a Ford. Like a fucking Ford, and they're like... Because the guy was like, thought you'd never turn on me. Like, because he was like plotting against Brad Wesley.
That guy, I believe, was in Walker, Texas Ranger. Right?
He definitely. That is not CD from Walker, Texas Ranger.
Who's CD?
The old guy with the glasses.
Is that the guy from the Type 2 Diabetes commercials?
That's not him. It's really not. I thought it was Sergeant Slaughter or Paul Bearer from WWE.
All right. Anyway. Who's driving that car? Is it Jimmy?
Jimmy's there. No, Jimmy's like cheering. It's
Jimmy's
like
cheering. One of his henchmen is driving a giant monster truck that's way too big.
And basically, like...
destroys an entire dealership.
Everything. Drives over cars.
Goes through the glass.
Through the building.
Runs it over.
Desks, everything. This guy's life. And just basically like, this is because... And he basically tells the guy after the truck, he's like, this is because you turned on me, you know, like, and in front of everybody. Where's the cops?
This guy runs deep because he does it in front of crowds of people.
There was like a carnival going on. Giving a guy selling hot dogs,
and nobody no
man selling ice cream.
Yes,
you know.
So then
singing Italian song.
My next note is that Dalton begins to snap and really show his lunatic side.
Well, they blow up the barn.
Well, you're getting a taste of that. Like, Dalton's getting unhinged. You're getting, like, he's had enough, and he's starting to, like... And then... So now we're just going to get right into the climax,
okay, so let's go.
So, he's getting unhinged. He's going uphill.
He's sleeping with the doctor.
It's almost like he's unraveling at the seams.
And he's sleeping with the doctor. They're sleeping in his farmhouse loft. All of a sudden, boom! Explosion, middle of the night. The farmhouse...
Now, the Santa Claus guy is actually in the house.
He's in the house. He's on fire. Dalton runs out of the farmhouse, goes
and gets him.
Gets the farmer, comes out. This guy's in a fucking red pajama
He's Santa
suit.
Claus.
He's Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Carries him out. He's like, "You okay?" Again, this guy, even almost burning alive, humorous. He's like, "I'd be better if you got off of me." Like,
yeah. Like, anyway, the guy almost burned to death.
Dalton gets up, sees Jimmy on a fucking dirt bike.
Okay, wait. Let's not forget. Jimmy is... Give me a sec here. Jimmy is riding the quad, laughing.
Dirt bike.
Oh, yeah. Is it dirt bike?
Dirt bike.
Maniacally. He is laughing. He's like, he's like so satisfied that he just blew up this guy's house.
Yeah.
And then Dalton runs down.
He's faster than a dirt bike, Dalton.
Obviously.
Dives, takes Jimmy off the dirt bike, and they start going.
So now this is what we've been waiting for.
They're fine. You're waiting for the head-to-head.
Good hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat. Good fight.
Probably one of the best fight scenes in the movie.
Definitely. And then you hear the best line of the whole movie.
Wait. Could I, before we get to that line, because that line is obviously amazing, could we get to some of the cheesy lines leading up to that? Like, Jimmy's like, prepare to die. And all Dalton says is, "You are such an asshole." It's kind of like a buddy cop thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Dalton never came back and was like, "Drop dead, cocksucker."
Yeah, Dalton, and even like, that's one thing, like the lines, there's always a golden line here and there. But the lines in this movie, like, it seems like they're different dialogue. Like, it seemed like that didn't fit. Like, prepare to die and "you are such an asshole." Yeah. Which he is. I guess that's kind of like a nod to the audience, though. Like, this guy is an asshole.
Such an asshole. But anyway, so they start fighting. It's coming out and like...
And you see, could we plant that we see Dalton kind of do this kind of hand thing?
He keeps throwing his hand up, going for this move. But you don't know yet. And you're like, what is he going to do?
He keeps kind of going to choke him?
But like,
if we could say,
you don't know yet. You don't know. You just see him doing this claw, like the claw from Liar Liar.
Right.
Like,
he kind of goes
with his hand,
and
motion,
he keeps missing it.
And he keeps missing it anyway. And then,
of course, the immortal line. Jimmy tells Dalton, this has got to be now. You say this is one of the top 10 movies.
I've used it in real life.
You say this is one of the top 10 movies. I think this is one of the greatest movie quotes
ever,
and badass things to say somebody in life.
He
says, we could do a whole podcast on just this line alone. He says to Dalton, to Swayze, "I used to fuck guys like you in prison."
When he says that, you're just like, what? I was sweating.
Yo, I felt
I don't want to fight. I wouldn't want to fight this guy. This guy just told me he used to fuck guys like me in prison.
I had to go get a glass of water. Because
he's basically saying, I'm so comfortable with my masculinity, and I'm such a fucking badass that, yeah, I was in prison and I fucked other guys.
Well, but he's also saying that, but he's so bad. Like, Dalton, he knows Dalton's a badass. So what he's saying, if you break down this line, because we're gonna break down this line here. He is saying that Dalton's so badass, and he knows that he fucked guys as bad as Dalton. Like, he made them his bitch. Dalton's known for ripping out people's throats, for beating the shit out of people.
And this guy's...
I fucked guys like you in prison.
You think I'm scared of you? Like, no, I'll fuck you in that sweet ass.
I remember when we were younger and like hearing that line, and we were kind of like, oh, that's gay, that's weird, you know?
No, it's not gay.
That ain't gay. That's,
like, he's showing such dominance.
That's badass.
That I go to prison. I'm not scared.
That's a dominance.
Because listen, I go to prison or you go to prison, we'd be scared. Like, shit, I don't want to get. I'm gonna get my ass sewed together because I don't want to get fucked in my ass. You hear these stories? No, this guy's like, oh, I'm gonna go to prison and I'm gonna just start fucking people.
I'm doing the fucking.
If I go to prison, I'm doing the
fucking, and I'm gonna like it, and you, this big tough guy, is gonna squeal like a bitch.
Well,
is what he's saying.
I always thought he'd be bigger.
Well, of course. Okay, so anyway, he says that's the greatest line. Then
gets
the girl, the doctor
comes just in time.
They're facing off, and suspenseful music comes on.
Dalton gets him in a position, rips his throat out.
Rips his throat clean out.
Bare hands. Like, almost like the 5-point pressure point in Kill Bill.
Right, but even the 5-point pressure point in Kill Bill, that's
not
like an internal thing.
No, he literally rips his Adam's apple out of his fucking mouth.
Rips a bare hand.
And she sees it, the girl. And she's like, oh my God!
Now, this is where her motives get a little lost for me, because...
Wait, dumps Jimmy in the water because they're fighting on the edge of a bay.
Well, he falls in the water.
Yeah,
right?
he kind of just pushes him down in the water, and the girl runs over, and you think she's gonna run to Dalton. She runs to fucking Jimmy. Like,
runs to
oh, Jimmy, you okay? No, Jimmy just blew up the house,
right?
Killed innocent people,
like
tried to kill Dalton because he pulled out a gun on Dalton.
That's right, he pulls out a gun. So it's instantly goes back to what Wade Garrett was saying.
Memphis,
this is exactly the same thing.
Well, like, yo, if a guy pulls out a gun on you, basically, what I learned from this movie, if a guy pulls out a gun on me, it's either I get killed or I kill that motherfucker. Or you rip out his throat. I rip out his throat.
But can I bring up also, like...
She saw this.
Can I bring up for a minute? Let's be honest, though, if we want to get to the realism thing. He pulls out the gun. Dalton hits it away. The gun's gone.
And
then he rips out his throat. He almost does it like, you're too dangerous to be kept alive.
Well,
almost, that's kind of like his thing.
A guy that fucks other guys in prison, you think he could fit in with society? Well, like, you think they were going to shake hands after that? I'm like, hey, I tried to shoot you, but this guy's coming back, if not today, later tomorrow. So he had to kill him.
He rips out the throat. The doctor runs over, I guess, because she's in the medical field. You could explain with that.
And anyway, he tries to go to the girl, and she's like, get away from me! And he's like, all right, whatever. Takes Jimmy, starts walking in the water with Jimmy's body.
Wait.
Calling for Brad Wesley.
So he calls for Brad Wesley, and this is like back to the bad lines that don't fit. This isn't particularly a good line, but it's just Swayze's delivery. He's like, Wesley! And then he goes, fuck you! Which is amazing. It's just perfect.
Like, while he's dragging a throatless body, Jimmy.
And could you imagine? Brad Wesley, with all his money, he's watching this the window. I would have booked it. Like,
that's it. Like, okay, listen, we were having fun. We were
having fun.
You just killed Jimmy.
You killed Jimmy, who Brad Wesley knows is the badass guy. Like, now, Brad Wesley, as we'll get to this in a sec, too. I keep going ahead, but Brad Wesley is this badass rich guy. But he's not a hand-to-hand guy.
Not that we know.
So, like, he just killed his hand-to-hand guy. He just killed, like, somebody who's a match for Dalton.
His general. Like, his number one.
Brad Wesley should have gotten the helicopter and just booked it and be like, I'll come back in a few months.
This will blow over. He'll go to another bar.
He just killed my top guy. No, he's like, fuck you! And then Wesley's watching from the window just like, all right, I'm staying. Like, I'm not afraid. The girl disappears, right? Let me go to my notes for a sec.
No cops, nothing, no dead body.
Now, that's another thing, too. Like,
this whole movie's like that.
He should go to jail right now. Like, he should go to jail right now because, like, he killed, like you said yesterday, now he didn't do it to one person. He did it to two people. The whole self-defense thing is thrown out the window at this point. Now they're going to know this guy just loves ripping people's throats out.
He's a throat ripper.
He should be in jail. He's not.
Okay, anyway. So moving forward. The next day, Brad Wesley he's at the Double Deuce.
Oh, yeah, I got some notes for this.
Brad Wesley calls him up. Like, doesn't even, like, he's just like, so today, who's it going to be?
Yes.
Is it going to be,
the girl
or Wade Garrett? Like, and he's like, what? He goes, one of them has to die. He goes, hold on, I'll just flip a coin.
He gives him, it reminded me, everybody's seen The Dark Knight. He gives him basically the Joker, a la the Joker, where it's either Harvey or the girl. Yeah. He gives him that, and then, like, Dalton doesn't even have a split second to design. He's like, you know what, I'll just flip. He flips a coin for these people's lives.
And then just hangs up. He don't even want to talk to fucking
Dalton. What I don't understand is now, Dalton lingers in the bar, and then Wade Garrett walks in all fucked up.
All beat up, like, there was three of them, mijo.
There was three of them. They say I got lucky.
And basically, like, so now in Patrick Swayze's mind, he's like, shit, well, he's going to kill the girl then.
Right.
And he's like, basically, Wade Garrett the whole time's telling him, like, forget this town. Like, let's get out of here. Like, let's, so Patrick Swayze says to him,
the last thing he says to him is, like, I'm going to get the girl
and we're getting out of here.
Screw this town.
Screw this town.
Dalton's had enough.
He's had enough.
He doesn't want to play games with Ben Gazzara.
He's like, you're right. He's like, he goes, Wesley wins. You're right. He's like, we're going to get out of here.
Let's keep this in mind because this is like, okay, so his character, that's it. He wants to get out of town. He wants to make sure the girls are right, and he's leaving Ben Gazzara. He's not. He goes, does he get the girl?
He goes to the hospital. She don't want to come with him.
Okay, she's all pissed off.
She's like, you're a monster.
She's all pissed off, yeah.
He leaves. He goes back to the Double Deuce, and here we go. You see Wade Garrett laying on a bar, his back towards Patrick Swayze. And he's like, hey, mijo, come on. I told you one beer, one beer drinking.
Would you fall asleep?
Yeah, would you fall asleep? turns him over, knife through his
stomach,
chest,
and
a note and says it was Tails.
It was Tails.
Which makes no sense to me because they didn't establish, Wesley didn't say, like, oh, head's the girl, Tails Wade Garrett. But anyway.
I guess he's clarifying there. It was Tails. Tails was Wade Garrett.
So,
but I don't understand now. This is why I bring up the Joker thing, because you know how the Joker has this big executed plan in Dark Knight where it, like, pays off and he gets out of jail and whatever. It's all because of that. What? It's almost like, so he let Wade Garrett go and then...
Just to kill him later?
Like, they could have just killed him.
Well, I also thought maybe...
But that was the mindfuck, I guess, like, sending him back. So I guess we're thinking it's crazy, but it's actually genius, because he was like, oh, I'm going to make him think Wade Garrett's okay, and now he's going to go get the girl, and then I'm going to kill him.
Well, in reality, you got to remember, Wade Garrett is worth more to him than the girl. You know, they make it like, oh, that's his love interest.
Father figure.
But, this is father figure. He knows Wade Garrett
this
for
is
his
as close he has to family.
To family. He has no family, but Wade Garrett is like his father.
Let's not forget the diner scene. Let's not forget the Oscar.
Yeah. Like, all that stuff. And then, like, you figure, like, oh, okay, this guy is a mentor.
He's a mentor.
And he knows him.
He was on his side, like, oh, forget this death. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. Forget this town. He's trying to give him good advice. Now he's dead on a ball.
Now, let's just say, if Swayze was going up, let's say he's going down he was going up the roller coaster, right? The old guy's house got blown up. He started going down the turning point. Now you're up top of the roller coaster. They just killed his mentor. It's free fall. It's free fall now. Swayze gets in his car.
His nice car.
Nice car. This is when you know he really don't give a shit. He gets in his nice car. He drives it to Ben Gazzara's house. Goes in
takes the knife.
Well, you find that out in a second. He turns the car into a fireball because they're shooting at it. And then he's not in the car. There's a knife. And then he plays a game of cat and mouse with these poor fucking guys.
And he's killing everybody.
Killing everybody.
This scene was taken straight from fucking Hard to Kill with Steven Seagal. Hunting.
I don't know what came first, but this is very Steven Seagal Hard to Kill.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the same year.
This is the same scene because he goes and Now, another thing, too, is like, Ben Gazzara is... I mean, obviously his henchman probably killed Wade Garrett, but, like, Ben Gazzara understands the whole flipping of the coin thing. The knife goes up in the air, he kills one guy, and then he's like, guess it was Tails again, and then he stabs him. That guy doesn't even understand that joke as he kills him, I don't think. Yeah. Because why would that guy understand the joke? Then he throws a knife at another guy, right? He throws a knife at another guy.
Yeah, well, now Swayze enters a whole new level of, like...
He is killing...
I think he's a ninja.
He turns into a serial killer. He is, like, stalking these guys like Hard to Kill, which we're going to do on another podcast. We have to.
Killing them. And
he kills them all. Then the fat guy with the polar bear, the fat guy who's, like, the dumb kind of... He pushes a polar bear on top of him, and, like, this guy thinks the polar bear's alive or something.
I don't fucking know. Honestly, at this point, I was just like, I didn't even know.
Polar bear lands on him, and then he says, you guys are made for each other, which I guess is a fat joke. Is that a fat joke?
I don't know what it was. Well, again, I stopped trying to figure this movie out.
Okay, so now, let's get to Wesley, finally, at an hour and, like, 20 minutes of this podcast, if you're still listening. He... has hand-to-hand combat with Wesley, but Wesley shoots him first.
Well, Wesley tells him, first he shoots him.
We got to establish that because you can't, this guy's not just going to fight Dalton 100%.
He shoots Dalton, he gets him in the arm. And then he's like, I don't know, Dalton kicks the gun away, and then Wesley's like, I thought it'd be fun to fight you. Like, but, like, he wants to end it now because he's, like, getting bored of this. Like, and Dalton's kicking his ass. Whatever. Now, all of a sudden, Dalton has him on the couch.
Right.
And he's about to rip his throat out.
Let's not forget that Ben Gazzara, like, to no avail, he's throwing spears at him. He's throwing, like, he's put up a pretty decent fight. He also shot Dalton in the arm, like I said, so Dalton's
not 100%. He's fighting with one arm.
But he's in that position. Now, he has him on the couch.
He gets Wesley on the couch, and all of a sudden, like, the climactic music, and he puts up his hand with that same claw, this claw we know that, his fingers will rip throats out, and he's looking at, and, like, Wesley's looking him in the eye, and he's looking him in the eye, and he's breathing heavy, and all of a sudden the girl walks in again, and you see, like, he puts his hand down. Doesn't kill him.
Character development, everybody.
Like, I'm not going to kill him. I've killed the,
He's grown.
He's grown. He just killed
Swayze
35 people in the house.
He executed.
Everybody.
At least 10 people.
But you know what? Exactly. It doesn't make any sense either. Like, he breaks into this house to kill
Brad Wesley.
And then you kill everybody else, thing, like, don't kill Brad Wesley.
Let's not
You're going to jail for a minimum of 5 terms.
Let's not overshadow what you're saying, because, like, he kills everybody else in the house. It's not like he just injures everybody in the house. Like, that's one thing if he injures them and then he's like, oh, I'm not going to kill you, Wesley. No, he killed everybody in the house.
So what's the point of this?
Why isn't he killing Wesley, who killed his friend?
I mean, this is murder. This is murder.
At this point, it's murder.
At the end of the day, he went to this house. If in a court of law, they're going to say he showed up. You know, they can't say, oh, they had guns. Yeah, they had guns because in this state or wherever they are, they're allowed to have guns.
Right.
You're the person that's not on the right property.
Right.
You
broke into the guy's house and killed all these people.
And they tried to defend themselves. You're going to fucking jail.
So anyway, he has a change of heart, was showing character development in the end of his movie. And then, now this.
So he lets him go. He turns his back on Brad Wesley. Why? I don't know. Brad Wesley picks up a gun to go shoot him, and then go ahead.
Okay, so this is just completely out of nowhere, and I love this movie. We're making fun of it, we're busting its balls. I love it. But this final scene of this movie always just rubs me, like, out of nowhere, because these are the type of movies, like, you watch a movie like Hard to Kill. Same scenario. Steven Seagal's in the house. What happens? He kills that guy, doesn't he?
No.
Or somebody else shoots him.
They arrest him.
Oh.
They arrest him. They don't kill him. It's the same fucking movie.
Oh my god. Well, we'll get to that later.
Again, same thing. Kills everybody. Anyway, Go ahead.
Anyway,
please.
so he kills... So, this is the one thing that, in this movie, like, the payoff would have been Swayze just killing the guy. That would have been it. No, he gets up, and all of a sudden, he goes to shoot Swayze, and he starts getting riddled with bullets.
Well, first shot, he gets shot. You turn, and it's the fucking club owner.
It's the club owner.
And you're like, fucking Tillman. And you're like, shit, where the fuck did Tillman come? And then all of a sudden, but
he gets shot
again.
again.
Wesley gets shot again. Boom. It's the fucking guy who owned the Ford. Another gunshot. It's fucking Farmer John. And then another fucking gunshot. It's fucking Red West. And you're like, the townspeople came together with their own shotguns.
And they're all, like, they didn't even know he was there.
And they came out of, like, the fucking, like, they were hiding. Were they going to kill him anyway?
I don't know.
And, like, it just so happens that
there's another movie from their perspective. Like, them getting together and,
to
like,
stalk and
creating this plan.
To kill Brad. Like, and, like, oh, Swayze just happened to show up and they jumped down and helped him anyway. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, they fucking, he's in a white suit, Brad was, and, like, or whatever he's in, and they just fucking, they riddle him with shotgun shells. He's dead. Cops run in.
And then the cops run in, right? And this is my favorite, too, because the cops run in. Now, the fat guy that the polar bear fell on is there. What happens with Dalton? Is he kissing the girl or whatever?
They're holding the girl, whatever.
Holding hands. All right. So, Wesley gets shot 20 times by these people. The cops burst in. The fat guy's back. And then, like...
They're like, what? The cops are like, what the hell went on here?
Yeah, they ask every one of them, what happened? And then the owner's like, I don't know. I didn't see nothing. And then the next guy, the farmer Fran, I didn't know. I didn't see nothing. And then everybody's like, I didn't see nothing. And now Red West at that point had taken all the guns, and I don't know what he did with them because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with 7 guns?
Yeah, you know? like the cops were there in 3 seconds. So where'd you put?
Threw the gun somewhere, and then he came out and he says, I didn't see nothing. Then they look at the fat guy,
and they're like,
polar
hey
bear.
Tubby, like how about you? You know?
And he's like, a polar bear fell on me.
And everybody's like, ha ha.
They all get a chuckle,
and then the credits roll.
And then it fades to Swayze in the water with the chick.
Naked.
And
they're both naked.
They probably show the bar, too, I think. You know?
Yeah, they're both naked in the water.
And then, like, happy ending, everybody's smiling. And credits roll. But, like, at the end of the day...
Murder. Multiple murders. What are the cops doing about the 10 dead bodies on their fucking hands?
They can't just... they can't just say, oh, I didn't see nothing and this is going to go away. Like, other cops are going to come there. There's going to be an investigation.
Probably, because this is a serial killer.
They're going to find the guns. They're going to match the bullets up. And all these people are going to go to jail. So, Absolutely. Like, I don't know what the happy ending is. Swayze's going to go to jail. Like, there could almost be a sequel about them all on death row together. Like, in the same, like, calling like Green Mile, but like all them.
Like, touch my hand, boss.
Yeah. Red West, Swayze, everybody.
This is my mouse.
Everybody getting the death penalty because...
Mr. Jingles.
That's really what happens, but I don't know. This is the way the movie ends. It's a fun movie.
I'm kind of disappointed that there wasn't more of the black guy with the raspy voice. What do you want me to do with this guy?
Well, he was going to be the warden in the prison movie of them all being on death row.
Yeah.
But let's finish this off. give some final thoughts about this movie. This movie was made in 1989, like I said. It is a fun movie. As much as we bash it, we joke around. We laugh at it.
Entertaining at best. This is a movie you could watch over and over again. Like, you'll never be like, ill. Like, you're just as shocked every time.
It's a good, fun action movie.
For its time, it is everything you want.
Over the top action movie. And if you've never seen it, you're missing out.
The arm wrestling movie?
No, that's another episode.
Okay.
Over the top movie, but fun. Swayze. It's one of his most known roles. I mean, obviously with movies like Dirty Dancing, Ghost, Point Break, and stuff like that. It's one of his known roles. A fun action movie, like I said. I
mean, really, it built up the cooler and bouncer business. People wanted to get into it, stuff like that. I mean, I do.
This movie is one of those. It's one of those things that's always on TV. You could catch it probably on TBS or TNT at any time, any one of those, Spike or something. It's always on.
Ted Turner, Turner Classic Movies.
It's probably not a Turner Classic Movies. You could pick it up. I've seen it in Best Buy in the Blu-ray bin, DVD bin, $5, $6. I know I'm giving some promotion, but I know Shout Factory has a new collector's edition that's out that you could get with some new bonus features. Any final thoughts on this, Sal?
If you haven't seen it, you should have never listened to this, but go out and see it. Not go out and see it. It's not playing in the movie theater, but
wish it was.
Pick it up, see it, enjoy it. Watch it with your family. Watch it with your kids.
Yeah, make it a family
night. Make some popcorn.
People ripping out throats. But yeah, definitely highly recommended as far as an action movie.
For its time, classic. 5 stars.
5 stars in the action cheesy genre.
Absolutely,
it delivers. It's a good popcorn movie. I'm not going to give it 5 stars in real ratings, but like I said, fun. Any other thoughts about this movie, Sal?
No.
All right, so that is episode 1 of the podcast, guys. This is pretty much how it's going to stick. It's going to be about bad movies. I got some other movies, in my head that we got some ideas about talking about, watching. If you got any recommendations, you can recommend them in the comments. Also, this is going to be on the Genuine Assholes. I'm going to make a podcast page, obviously, for this, so it's probably going to be on iTunes or whoever I make it. It's also going to be on my YouTube page, Genuine Assholes YouTube page, which you could search Genuine Assholes into YouTube. There's some skits, there's some movie reviews and stuff like that. It's going to be on there. But thanks for listening, guys. Give us your thoughts in the comments about Roadhouse. Is it one of your top 5 guilty pleasures? When do you watch it? Do you watch it around the holidays? I don't know. I just want to know about it.
Die Hard. We like to watch Die Hard on Christmas.
Is it your Die Hard? Is it your Die Hard? But yeah.
Comments on Jimmy. Comments on Bobby
Jimmy.
from.
How bad is Jimmy? How bad is Jimmy? Does anybody know any other movies like? I could look on his IMDb.
I'd rather have them comment, and we could be surprised.
I want to know if Jimmy was ever another badass in another movie. That
Bobby from Renegade. Does anybody know what he's up to?
If you know who Bobby from Renegade is, comment. If you know what we're talking about, we say Bobby from Renegade.
Lorenzo Lamas. And my brother brought up CD from Walking Texas Ranger.
Yeah, what's he up to? Is he still alive?
Trebek, Trebek.
Well, he's
in
Die Hard. He's in Die Hard.
Okay, but that's it. I think
he's the computer guy.
Computer whiz.
Anyway, watch Die Hard too. Highly recommended. But all right, guys. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more.
Bye.